Okay, so we're going to be talking about this is kind of from the viewpoint of a survivalist. Well, it's basically about how do we afford, hygiene, skincare, limited beauty items. Um, because especially hygiene, I never really budgeted when I was working and having a job. I never really budgeted for hygiene because I don't know, at least for me, it was understated. Like, I kind of took it for granted of how, at least in American culture, how essential decent hygiene is, and the standards are kind of high. Um, for whatever reason, it's like I wasn't good at maintaining that, still not that great, and so I'm learning. It's just like a hassle. It's like one of those things I don't want to deal with in life. Um, but I guess you kind of have to, is what I'm learning. And there's so many items out there you can use, you may need. It's like you're trying to figure out what you should be buying and using. Um, yeah, because I found out, I guess, my hygiene wasn't up to standard because I would occasionally get like looks and just you could see it on folks' facial expression and the sounds they would make and stuff, just like of disgust or something. And then that was very occasional, but mostly when it was brought at my attention was like in some work environments. And so that's kind of like, okay, must be an issue if because it's an embarrassing subject. So if your manager or coworkers are willing to talk to you about it, that must mean it's an issue. Or they may be just trying to be mean and create something, but I don't think that was the case for me. Um, anyway, so I just thought like if I were to do things over, that's I guess one of the good things I did is that I would always have an excess of hygiene stuff, even though I wouldn't necessarily use the items I should when I should. So when I was working, I would have an excess, and then when I wasn't working, I would have enough to cover me for those times. So I think that was a good habit. Um, but I kind of waited until I saw, like, I didn't continuously budget it in my budgets. I would just kind of wait until, so that's a bad thing. I would wait until I would kind of run out and then buy more. So if I were to do things over again, like if I did find work, how would I manage affording hygiene and skincare? And well, skincare I'm good for a while, but I'm just thinking of a situation where somebody, for whatever reason, had to find a way to afford skincare, hygiene, beauty at a time where, let's say, they lost everything or lost their job, and they may have some savings. Like, we're just assuming they have enough savings to cover all this. Um, because I think that is kind of, it's an essential and like one of the most important things to have when you lose everything, because at least in America, as a female, you get judged a lot. So that's something you pretty much need. So if I was in that situation, what would I get? We're trying to keep it fairly simple, especially with the hygiene stuff. Just really what you need. Maybe toothbrush, toothpaste. I didn't bring visuals. You guys know what that looks like. I was trying to see, actually, before I was financially conscious, I would use body wash because I like body wash better than bar soaps. But then I was like, okay, maybe bar soaps will last longer. And I don't know if that's the case, to be honest. But at least could do body wash, you could do bar soaps. But if you're going to do body wash, get the off-brand, like Suave, I think is the brand. Like one of those brands that's really like a few bucks or something, very affordable. Because there's a lot of body washes that cost more than that. I think most of them cost more than that. But the bar soap may be cheaper than most body washes. So either body wash or bar soap. Or both if you can afford that, but it's bar soap. And I think the bar soap might last about 2 weeks, so you'd have to do the math. I'll do the math on the totals and include that in the title of the video or something. My nails look, speaking of hygiene, I know I have stuff under them. I didn't do my nails, so it is what it is. Okay, so I guess on to the body stuff. Shampoo, conditioner, just something very basic. It can be bad for your hair, I've heard it is, but you're looking for something where there's a sale, or again, it would be about a few bucks each. And at the time, years ago, this Tresemme thing qualified, so you can do Tresemme shampoo and conditioner. Pretty decent sized bottle. This is kind of an expensive body wash, but I can't find my off-brand. At least sometimes Costco has a deal on these, so it's cheaper, I'm guessing, than getting this at like a actual store. But Dove body washes are kind of nice. They're a bit expensive. It looks a mess, but real life. Anyway, Dove. This is the deep moisture. I would just get a cheaper one. This is like a body wash, but it's a little bit more clinical, I guess. I've heard about this, the Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. So this I would do, like, consider this taking care of most of the dirt and the odor and stuff. And then body wash traditionally is more of a fragrance and something to add a nice smell. But this does the heavy lifting, I would think. It's a little bit expensive, but you get a huge bottle, it lasts a while, so. I mean, maybe something of this size would last at least 4 months or so, maybe longer. Body wash, I don't know how long it would last you. Maybe about a month, just a regular size. The Dove one, I think, longer. Now, I had no clue that exfoliating scrub existed for a while. So, let's see. Well, this one says sugar scrub, so some kind of scrub, I heard, for exfoliating under the underarms, like armpit area, is necessary. I don't know. So occasionally I'll do something like this. There. And then I also heard for exfoliating, you can grab a lemon, like a literal lemon, cut it in slices, or half or something, and you scrub that on your armpit. A coworker told me that. I don't know if it's true, if it works, but then last thing would be the body oil. I've heard of body oils recently, and I guess you're meant to use them as an additional to seal in like the fragrance that you have. And I heard fragrance is not good for you. It's kind of bad for you, but I don't know what other way to kind of help extend your hygiene so you don't have to shower as much. So I use a little bit of fragrance. This is after, just normally. You don't need to shower before you use this or anything, but it's this. I googled some information, some question, and this came up: the Panoxyl Acne Foaming Wash for face and body. So I guess you can use it as what it's meant for, as a foaming wash, but I heard under the armpits to basically a more intense version of deodorant to make it so that you don't sweat under there as quickly. So there's that one. I have noticed a difference, like when I'm wearing it versus not wearing anything under the underarm, like armpit area. I don't know. Like I haven't compared this to actual deodorant, but and then I would recommend fragrance at the end of the shower routine, or just in general, just the normal fragrance, like body fragrance. Get something that's not too expensive but lasts a decent amount of time. You can go to Marshall's, maybe Walmart, I don't know. You can get a fancy fragrance, but I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just having everything body care, go back. I'm going to mention like 2 hair care items, because that's all I do. So basically everything I mentioned, besides like all the mandatory stuff, is for most of the items I mentioned. Sort of mandatory hygiene stuff. And then later hair care, skincare, and beauty things that I would recommend that you know, almost anyone would need on a daily basis. Consistent basis, daily, weekly, whatever. So hair care. So these 2 might just really be for curly hair. I don't know for straight hair or wavy hair, other kinds of hair. I don't know what you would need. But for curly hair, there's this Cantu butter, which I used to use, and it worked like a leave-in conditioner. I just felt it was kind of thick, so it just sort of, after some time, the product would kind of stick in my hair, stay there longer than I wanted it to. and then over time it would kind of look dirty. So, but it worked as like a short-term solution. And some folks do like this, and it's like, it used to be quite affordable, like a few bucks or something. Brand is Cantu Shea Butter. This is their argan oil leave-in conditioning repair cream. So just the leave-in conditioner. And then this from Aussie is the brand, Hair Insurance leave-in conditioner. I think they remade this one and they made this kind of a detangler. I sort of think of it as both. But yeah, if you want just a lightweight detangler, I would use this. This I use as more of a, it's just something you use after, like to handle frizz and stuff. It's just a spray to handle frizz. And that one used to be a few bucks. I think it still is. So relatively affordable. So that's all I do for hair. You know, of course the conditioner and shampoo before that. Then skincare. Cleanser and moisturizer. Don't really do much for skincare. Sometimes I don't do anything, some days. Genetics. I was blessed with that kind of genetics. That's all it is, I swear. But I do believe in maintenance and sometimes using cleanser and moisturizers. CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser. So this brand, any of their cleansers, I just kind of choose a random one, whatever's on sale. And same with this, their, for instance, Daily Moisturizing Lotion. So any of their moisturizers that's on sale. And then I quite like this from First Aid Beauty, their Ultra Repair Cream Intense Hydration. I don't know, it's just a nice texture. Kind of feels like butter, melts into the skin, but also feels luxurious and like a little bit thick at the same time. So I don't know if it does anything, but I do like the feel. It's a little bit expensive, this one. I think the size is about 30 bucks or so. And then for serums, from The Ordinary, because that's the most affordable brand I could find when it comes to serums, the niacinamide and the hyaluronic acid. I did hear it's good for some skin issues, like one of them, or maybe both, for acne. Not an expert. Use at your own risk. Use everything at your own risk. But yeah, that's why I use those sometimes. And then this caffeine solution, I definitely noticed a difference with this caffeine solution. It's fantastic in my view. So that's all I do for skincare. And then sometimes then on to beauty. Okay, so this Maybelline Fit Me, it's just like the most reliable foundation I know of. So this I think would last maybe about 2 months. So I did the math, it's about 50, somewhere around 50 bucks, maybe a little bit more. You have to include tax for a whole year's worth using that estimation. Then for powder, I would just say getting this from Dollar Tree, the Prolux powder. You don't really need anything fancy for powder. I don't think most people do. This illuminator, if you're looking for an illuminator, the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter, I think that's all you need. That's good enough, and it lasts a while. This, I would say, might last about, I don't know, 2 to 4 months. Maybe longer, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the estimation of 2 months. Blush, just get a palette like Tarte. During their holiday sales, they usually have a blush palette for about $20, $30, something like that, with a variety of their blush shades. Usually the Amazonian clay. This is a fantastic line. Another brand that has something similar just in general is Revolution. It's much cheaper, and you maybe get more variety, I don't know. But some sort of a blush palette that's reasonably priced. For eyeshadow, this Lamora nude eyeshadow palette. Has all the cool tones, mattes, shimmers, excellent quality. That impressed me. This has all the cool tone shades you would want. Stone Cold Fox from ColourPop. Then for the lips, there's quite a bit. I couldn't really cut it down, to be honest. Concealer would be L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour. I can't find it right now, but that would be the #1 concealer. And the second one would be from Wet n Wild, the Mango Last Incognito. They're both excellent. So that's the Wet n Wild. Then last category is lips, and there's quite a few. I couldn't really cut it down. I was trying to have the budget be about $100, especially for someone who might not really have the money for all this, but I couldn't. So get started with the e.l.f. Reviver Lip Oil. This one's Rose Envy. This one, I don't know what the color is. I mean, the shade name is. It's too hard to figure out. It's like a darker version. Right there. And that last one is like a light brown. I think it's called Honey Talks or something. It's the one on the top. Then these from LA Colors from Dollar Tree. They're lip duos. This one's in Twinkle. They each come with a gloss. They're duos, so double-sided. This one's in Clarity. This one's in Vibe. The Fenty Gloss Bombs, if you can wait until holiday or when they have sets, you can get these for like $20, $30 for the sets. But the Fenty glosses are very good. They're one of my favorite glosses. And this way at least you get a treat. So any of the Fenty glosses, the creams, the heats, any of them that look like this. LA Colors has their single lipsticks as well, which you can find at Dollar Tree. These are great quality too as well, decent quality. Ione from Dollar Tree also has their kind of version of a lip oil, which is very similar to the e.l.f. They just don't have that many shades. But for instance, this one. From Wet n Wild's Mega Slicks. They're called Mega Slicks, yeah. Just glosses, some have glitter, some don't. This one has glitter. L'Oreal gloss. It's one of the best glosses. It's a little bit expensive, so for this budget I would just get maybe one shade and that's it. Hard to choose, I know. Those are fantastic. This color I think is just kind of unique. So that's e.l.f. Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pen. I don't know what this shade is, but just this particular shade. I don't think you need the others. And same thing with these e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balms. You don't need all the colors, but this one specifically, and Yummy Gummy, if you like that lavender, lilac sort of color. It's kind of similar to the LA Colors, so maybe you don't need both. Slightly different tone. The top one was LA Colors. And then there's one called Java Chip, one of these in the shade Java Chip. That's a really unique tone of brown. And I think those are all the... Here is the Java Chip. You can shear it out to make it a lighter brown. Then this from e.l.f., the Lip Plumping Gloss and Mocha Twist. These are just really nice glosses. Some have like sparkle glitter in them, some don't. It's kind of similar vaguely to the e.l.f. Plumping. These are vaguely similar, but this one is that one. This is similar to Max Marrakesh, but it costs less. It's slightly different tone, kind of significantly, but at least in the same family. Marrakesh, this one's Maybelline Super Stay Crayon and Enjoy the View. So that's everything. Oh, did I mention Buxom glosses? Same idea, during holiday they usually have a set of the Buxom glosses you can find for about 20 to 40 bucks. So I would wait until then for the Buxom glosses, but they're fantastic. So yeah, that's everything. There is actually a Morphe I would add on if there's room in the budget. Morphe, just get something that's colorful. More rose kind of colors and light colors, shimmers. But yeah, that's it.